ladies and gentlemen. And gentlemen, let me start with a question. When was the last time you truly enjoyed your own company? In this world where everyone is chasing connections, validation, and approval, we often forget the most important relationship we'll ever have, the one with ourselves. Learning to be happy alone isn't just a skill, it's an art, a strength, and a superpower. Happiness doesn't come from someone else. It doesn't live in relationship status or the applause of others. It begins and ends with you. You are the constant in your life, the foundation on which everything else stands. And when you embrace solitude, you discover a secret. You are enough. Enough. When I talk about being happy alone, I'm not talking about isolation. I'm talking about the quiet power of loving your own company. In that silence, you hear something extraordinary, your inner voice. That voice guides you, nurtures you, and reminds you who you truly are. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely only. It means standing tall, knowing you don't need anyone else to complete you because you're already whole. It's in these moments of solitude that you build strength, the kind of strength that can carry you through any storm. And let me tell you, something magical happens when you embrace your alone time, you rediscover your passions. Self love is the foundation upon which everything else in life is built. It's not just a trendy buzzword or an abstract concept. It's a fundamental practice that determines how we see ourselves, how we treat ourselves, and ultimately how we allow others to treat us. At its core, self love is about accepting who you are, flaws, quirks, strengths, and all. It's about looking at yourself in the mirror and recognizing that you are enough exactly as you are without the need for anyone else's approval or validation. When you learn to love yourself, you unlock a kind of inner peace that no external factor can shake. You stop measuring your worth by how others perceive you or by societal standards that often feel impossible to meet. And instead, you begin to define yourself on your own terms. Self love is the quiet voice in your mind that says you deserve happiness, even when the world makes you feel like you don't. It is not selfish or self centered to love yourself. In fact, it's the opposite. When you love yourself, you build a strong, unshakable core that allows you to give to others from a place of abundance, not emptiness. Think about it. How can you pour into someone else's cup when yours is running dry? Self love fills that cup. It gives you the courage to set boundaries, to walk away from things that no longer serve you, and to stand tall in your truth, no matter how uncomfortable it might be for others. Self love isn't always easy. It often requires unlearning years of negative self talk and breaking free from patterns of seeking validation from the outside world. It's about rewiring your mind to believe that your worth doesn't depend on your accomplishments, your appearance, or your relationships. It's about learning to forgive yourself for your mistakes, to be gentle with yourself during tough times, and to celebrate even the smallest victories in your life. The journey to self love can be messy, complicated, and non-linear. Some days it might feel like you've got it all figured out, and on others it might feel like you're back at square one. But that's okay because self love is a practice, not a destination. And it's about showing up for yourself every single day, even when it's hard. It's about recognizing that your happiness is not dependent on someone else's presence, approval, or attention. Silence is a teacher, a profound and often overlooked guide that holds the answers we seek in life. In the constant noise of our daily routines, we rarely pause long enough to listen to what silence has to offer. But it is in the quiet moments away from the distractions of the world that we find clarity, understanding, and connection with ourselves. Silence is not just the absence of sound, it's the presence of everything we often ignore. When you embrace silence, you create space to hear your inner voice, the one that gets drowned out by the chaos of external opinions and expectations. That voice is raw, unfiltered, and deeply personal. It knows your fears, your dreams, and the truths you've buried beneath layers of busyness. In silence, you can confront those truths no matter how uncomfortable they might be. It's in these moments of solitude that you gain the courage to face yourself, to ask hard questions, and to search for answers that no one else can provide. Silence has a way of revealing the things we tend to avoid. It can expose our insecurities, our doubts, and the parts of ourselves we often hide from the world. But instead of fearing it, we should embrace it. Because only when we face these things head on can we begin to heal, grow, and transform. Silence teaches us to be comfortable with our own company, to sit with our thoughts without judgment, and to find peace within ourselves rather than searching for it in the noise of others. In a world that celebrates constant activity and endless chatter, silence feels like rebellion. But it is in rebellion that we find freedom, the freedom to think deeply, to feel fully, and to simply be. Our silence doesn't demand anything from us. It doesn't require performance or perfection. It offers a sacred space where we can reconnect with our core, our essence, and our purpose. Through silence, we learn to listen not just to ourselves, but to the world around us. We start noticing the things we often overlook: the rustling of leaves, the rhythm of our breath, the stillness of the night. And these small, seemingly insignificant moments hold immense beauty and wisdom. Silence sharpens our senses and allows us to be present in ways that constant noise never could. It reminds us that we don't always need words to understand, to feel, or to connect. Silence also has a way of slowing us down. It pulls us out of the rush of life and reminds us to take a step back, to breathe, to reflect. In the stillness, we find the time to process our emotions, to think about what truly matters, and to let go of what doesn't. Silence is where ideas are born, where creativity thrives, and where solutions to problems suddenly become clear. It's the pause we need before making decisions, the calm before taking action, and the peace that carries us through life's uncertainties. To embrace silence is to give yourself permission to stop seeking outside of yourself and start looking within. Silence doesn't promise quick fixes or easy answers, but it offers something far greater: the chance to understand yourself on a deeper level, to recognize your own strength, and to realize that everything you need has been within you all along. Strength in independence is one of the most transformative realizations we can have in life. It's not about isolating ourselves or rejecting the importance of meaningful relationships. It's about recognizing that our happiness, stability, and fulfillment are not tethered to anyone else. And independence is a quiet power, an unshakable foundation that allows us to stand tall no matter who walks into or out of our lives. When you embrace independence, you take ownership of your story. You no longer wait for someone else to complete you, save you, or guide you toward your dreams. Instead, you become your own source of strength. You learn to rely on yourself, to trust your decisions, and to navigate challenges with resilience. Independence empowers you to create the life you want on your own terms without needing permission or approval from anyone else. Independence doesn't mean you won't experience love, connection, or support. It simply means that those things enhance your life, they don't define it. When you're independent, you can give and receive love freely without the fear of losing yourself in the process. You approach relationships from a place of abundance rather than need, understanding that your worth is not determined by someone else's presence in your life. Independence allows you to set boundaries and prioritize your well being because you know that taking care of yourself is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Strength and independence also means finding peace in solitude. It's about knowing that you can sit with yourself, with your thoughts, and with your emotions without feeling the need to escape or distract yourself. In solitude, you discover who you truly are, what you truly want, and what you're capable of. You learn to be your own source of comfort, joy, and inspiration. This doesn't mean you won't face moments of loneliness. It means you'll have the tools to navigate those moments with grace and self compassion. Independence teaches you the art of self reliance. It encourages you to develop skills, pursue passions, and chase dreams that are entirely your own. It's about taking risks, making mistakes, and learning from them without the fear of falling apart. Because when you are independent, you understand that failure is not the end, it's just a step in the process. You learn to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward, knowing that you have everything you need within you to succeed. One of the most profound aspects of independence is the freedom it brings: freedom to make choices that align with your values, to walk away from situations that no longer serve you, and to carve a path that is uniquely yours. Independence gives you the courage to say no when you need to, and the confidence to say yes when opportunities align with your goals and aspirations. It's a constant reminder that you are in control of your life, and that control is one of the most empowering feelings in the world. With independence comes a deeper sense of self respect. You begin to see yourself as capable, deserving, and whole. You stop waiting for someone else to validate your worth or to fill the gaps you once thought you had. Instead, you fill those gaps with self belief, hard work, and a commitment to your own growth. Independence pushes you to take responsibility for your happiness, to become the architect of your life, and to build a future that reflects your truest desires and values. Strength and independence isn't about never needing anyone. It's about knowing that you'll be okay regardless of who comes and goes. It's about standing on your own 2 feet and knowing that no matter what happens, you have the power to thrive. Independence is a gift you give yourself, one that brings stability, courage, and an unshakable sense of self. It's a strength that grows over time with every choice you make, every boundary you set, and every step you take toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. Pursuing your passions is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. It's about honoring that inner spark, that pull towards something that excites you, fulfills you, and makes you feel alive. And passion isn't just a hobby or a pastime, it's a deeply personal expression of who you are and what makes your heart beat faster. It's the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning, the thing that makes time disappear when you're immersed in it. To pursue your passions is to connect with your essence, to lean into the things that light you up, and to create a life that feels authentic and true to you. When you pursue your passions, you break free from the mundane routines that often leave us feeling stuck or uninspired. It's easy to get caught up in the demands of life, in chasing what's practical or expected, but passion is what brings color to an otherwise grayscale existence. It's what reminds us that life isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. Pursuing your passions allows you to tap into your creativity, your curiosity, and your potential in ways that no external achievement ever could. Passion doesn't have to be tied to your career or something that makes you money. It can be anything that brings you joy: painting, writing, dancing, cooking, traveling, solving complex problems, or even collecting things that fascinate you. The beauty of passion is that it doesn't need to be justified or explained. It doesn't matter if no one else understands it or if it doesn't fit into society's definition of success. What matters is how it makes you feel, how it fills your soul, and how it gives you a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Pursuing your passions requires courage. It means stepping away from the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, and the fear of not being good enough. It's about silencing that inner critic that says, you're too old, it's too late, or what will people think? And choosing to follow your heart anyway. Passion isn't about perfection, it's about joy. It's about allowing yourself the freedom to try, to experiment, and to explore without the pressure of being the best or achieving a specific outcome. When you give yourself permission to pursue your passions, you tap into a well of happiness and contentment that is entirely your own. Passion is personal, it's yours and yours alone. It doesn't depend on anyone else's approval or participation. This is where the magic lies, in knowing that your passion can be your sanctuary, your escape, and your source of strength no matter what else is happening in your life. Pursuing your passions can also be a path to self discovery. As you dive into what you love, you learn more about yourself, what excites you, what challenges you, and what fulfills you on a deeper level. You discover new talents, develop new skills, and push past limits you once thought were insurmountable. Passion has a way of opening doors you never even knew existed, introducing you to people, opportunities, and experiences that can transform your life in ways you couldn't have planned or predicted. Passion also teaches you resilience. When you care deeply about something, you're willing to work hard for it, to overcome obstacles, and to keep going even when it's difficult. You learn to embrace the journey, to find joy in the process, and to celebrate the small victories along the way. Passion gives you the strength to keep striving, not because you have to, but because you want to, because it's worth it. There's a unique kind of freedom that comes with pursuing your passions. It's the freedom to be yourself unapologetically and authentically. It's the freedom to dream big, to take risks, and to live boldly. Passion fuels your imagination and gives you the confidence to believe that anything is possible. It reminds you that life is meant to be lived fully, not just endured, and that your time, energy, and creativity are precious resources that deserve to be spent on what truly matters to you. Passion isn't always easy. There will be moments of doubt, challenges to overcome, and times when you question whether it's worth it. But those are the moments when passion shows its true power, because even in the face of difficulty, it gives you something to hold on to, something to strive for, and something to believe in. Passion is what keeps you going, what keeps you dreaming, and what keeps you growing, no matter where life takes you. Reframing solitude is about shifting the way we perceive and experience being alone. For many, solitude is often viewed through the lens of loneliness, as if being by yourself automatically equates to being disconnected or incomplete. But solitude, when embraced with the right mindset, is not something to fear or avoid. It's an opportunity, a gift, and a powerful space for growth, reflection, and self discovery. It's about changing the narrative from I'm alone to I'm with myself and finding fulfillment in that presence. Solitude offers a chance to step away from the noise of the world, the constant demands, and the endless chatter of others. In a society that glorifies busyness and social connectivity, choosing solitude can feel uncomfortable at first, even unnatural. But within that quiet, there's a unique kind of freedom to think, to breathe, and to simply be without the pressure to perform or please anyone else. Solitude allows you to detach from external distractions and focus on what truly matters, your own thoughts, feelings, and desires. Reframing solitude means recognizing it as a time to recharge and reconnect with yourself. Just as you recharge your phone when its battery is low, you need to recharge your own energy and spirit. Solitude provides that space, a sanctuary where you can rest, reflect, and realign. It's in these moments of stillness that you can process your emotions, evaluate your goals, and gain clarity about your path. Solitude becomes a form of self care, a way to nurture your mental, emotional, and even spiritual well being. When you embrace solitude, you also begin to appreciate your own company. It's about learning to enjoy being with yourself, to find joy in your own thoughts, and to cultivate a sense of inner peace. Solitude teaches you that you don't need others to validate your worth or provide your happiness. You can create your own happiness, your own meaning, and your own fulfillment. This realization is incredibly empowering because it shifts your sense of dependence from external factors to your inner self. Solitude is also a space for creativity and inspiration. When you're alone, free from the influence of others, your mind has room to wander, to explore, and to dream. Some of the greatest ideas, inventions, and works of art have been born in solitude. And it's in those quiet moments that your imagination can take flight, unrestrained by the opinions or expectations of others. Solitude allows you to dive deep into your passions, to focus fully on what excites you, and to create something that is uniquely yours. Reframing solitude involves letting go of the fear of being alone. Society often teaches us that being alone is something to be avoided, as if it's a reflection of inadequacy or failure. But solitude is not about isolation or disconnection, it's about intentional time spent with yourself. And it's about choosing to be alone not because you have to, but because you want to. It's a conscious decision to prioritize your own needs, your own growth, and your own journey. Through solitude, you build a deeper relationship with yourself. You begin to understand who you are, what you value, and what truly makes you happy. You gain insight into your strengths, your weaknesses, and the things that bring you peace. Solitude gives you the space to reflect on your life, to celebrate your progress, and to identify areas where you want to grow. It's a chance to tune out the noise of the world and tune into your own intuition, to listen to that inner voice that often gets drowned out in the chaos of everyday life. Reframing solitude also means embracing it as a time for self growth. It's a time to learn new things, to try new experiences, and to challenge yourself in ways you might not when surrounded by others. Solitude can be a catalyst for transformation, pushing you out of your comfort zone and encouraging you to explore parts of yourself you've never tapped into before. It's in these moments that you discover your resilience, your creativity, and your capacity to thrive independently. Instead of seeing solitude as a void, reframe it as a canvas, a blank space where you can paint the life you want without interference or distraction. It's a time to set intentions, to dream boldly, and to take steps toward becoming the person you aspire to be. And solitude is not a limitation, it's a space of limitless possibilities where you have the freedom to explore, create, and grow at your own pace, in your own way. Being your own cheerleader is one of the most transformative things you can do for yourself. In a world where external validation often feels like the ultimate measure of success and worth, choosing to be your own biggest supporter is a revolutionary act. It's about showing up for yourself every day, no matter what, and being the voice that says, you've got this even when no one else does. It's about becoming the steady, unwavering source of encouragement that fuels your journey through life, regardless of the opinions, judgments, or applause of others. Being your own cheerleader starts with self belief. It's about trusting your abilities, your decisions, and your path, even when the road ahead feels uncertain. You don't have to have all the answers or know exactly how things will unfold, but you do need to believe in your capacity to figure it out. Self belief isn't arrogance, it's a quiet confidence that comes from knowing that you are capable of learning, growing, and overcoming whatever challenges come your way. It's a reminder that you've made it through hard times before and you can do it again. Part of being your own cheerleader is learning to celebrate yourself, not just for the big wins, but for every small step forward. Life isn't just about the milestones, it's about the journey, the effort, and the progress you make along the way. Cheer yourself on when you get out of bed on a tough day, when you try something new, or when you face a fear head on. These moments may seem small to others, but they are monumental in your story. Acknowledge them, honor them, and let them remind you of your strength and resilience. Cheering for yourself also means silencing the inner critic that loves to point out your flaws and shortcomings. That voice in your head telling you that you're not good enough, smart enough, or talented enough. And it's not the truth, it's just fear and doubt trying to hold you back. As your own cheerleader, you have the power to replace that negative self talk with words of kindness, encouragement, and affirmation. Speak to yourself as you would to a loved one or a dear friend. Be compassionate, understanding, and supportive, even when you make mistakes or fall short. Being your own cheerleader is not about ignoring your struggles or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to focus on your strengths, your efforts, and your potential, even in the face of challenges. It's about reminding yourself that setbacks are temporary, that failure is a stepping stone, and that growth often comes from the hardest moments. As your own cheerleader, you don't let obstacles define you, you let them refine you. You pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep going because you know that you are worth the effort. This mindset also means learning to create your own motivation, waiting for others to recognize your efforts, or waiting for the perfect conditions to start something can keep you stuck. And being your own cheerleader means taking control of your narrative, finding inspiration within yourself, and pushing forward even when external motivation is lacking. You become the spark that ignites your drive, the voice that keeps you focused, and the energy that propels you toward your goals. Being your own cheerleader also means owning your story. Every experience, every triumph, every challenge has shaped who you are today. Instead of downplaying your achievements or dismissing your struggles, you embrace them as integral parts of your journey. You take pride in how far you've come and use that pride to fuel your journey forward. When you recognize the value in your own story, you stop looking for external validation and start finding fulfillment within yourself. At its core, being your own cheerleader is about self empowerment. It's about understanding that you don't need anyone else's permission to dream big, to take risks, or to pursue what sets your soul on fire. You give yourself the pep talks, the encouragement, and the praise you need to keep moving forward. Even when others don't see your vision or understand your goals, you are the one who claps for yourself, even in an empty room, because you know your worth doesn't depend on an audience. It's also about persistence. Being your own cheerleader means staying committed to yourself, even on the days when it feels easier to give up. It's about finding strength in your own voice, in your own determination, and in your own belief that you are capable of achieving great things. You learn to power through self doubt, to keep going when the odds are stacked against you, and to never underestimate your ability to rise above. When you become your own cheerleader, you transform your relationship with yourself. You stop waiting for the world to notice you and start noticing yourself. You stop seeking validation from others and start giving it to yourself. You learn to be your own source of love, encouragement, and pride, and that's a power no one can take away from you. In the journey of life, learning to be happy alone is one of the most empowering gifts you can give yourself. It's about embracing solitude as a space for self discovery, building strength and independence, and finding fulfillment within. When you reframe solitude, pursue your passions, and become your own cheerleader, you unlock a version of yourself that is whole, resilient, and unshakable. Happiness doesn't come from others or external circumstances, it's cultivated from within. It's in the quiet moments of self love, the courage to chase your dreams, and the joy of being at peace with who you are. By honoring your individuality and taking charge of your happiness, you create a life that is authentic, fulfilling, and uniquely yours. Remember, you are not alone when you have yourself, and in that truth lies a profound and unbreakable power.